Welcome, my friends, to Inside the Minds of Authors. I'm DC Gomez, and I'm thrilled you're joining me today for a fun conversation with a passionate author. We're kicking off the program, like it's our tradition, with a short reading from the feature book. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get started.
Hey, thank you so much, DC. It's an honor to be here as always. So here we are, February. And so we wanted to kind of let readers and listeners know about one of our books, book one in the Enigma Heirs series. It's called Enigma Tracer. And it begins with a prologue 2.5 years ago from where the story is actually starting.
The reason this is useful is that we've got the next book in the series in March, April timeframe. So just kind of laying the groundwork for that new release that's coming out. And Rox, take it away.
Thanks, Charles. Gracie awoke with a start from the irritating buzzing that grew louder by the second. She rubbed her face to erase the dreams that got disturbed and felt the fresh air as she flung off her covers. She heard a familiar, nearly unintelligible mumbling as if from a cave. Gracie, turn off the damn noise, the gravelly voice begged. The buzz persisted until Gracie's brain recognized the source, so she reached over and pushed the button on her phone on the nightstand. Her slender fingers reached the dim bedside lamp switch. She pressed it on and brushed sleep residue from her eyes. Gracie stretched like a cat, pulling up the covers, and wondered how much time they had to get ready. She pulled her phone, pressed the screen to reveal the time, and came to her senses about lounging around. Oh my gosh, she mumbled as her heart skipped a beat and her nerves ignited like she'd fallen off the edge of a cliff rather than jumped out of bed. Bailey, get up, she announced. We only have 2 hours to get it together and complete our setup to face the board to deliver our final. I'll go wash up fast. She gathered a few grooming necessities for the short trek down the hallway. I'm so tired, the weary voice replied. I know, me too. We prepped so late, but we'll be fabulous. I'm glad we're on first. Gracie watched the lump of bed lemons move, reminding her of wrestling with her twin brother, JJ, under the covers when they were kids. Tell you what, you rest till I finish my shower, then I'm dumping you on the floor. The lumpy bed hiding the lithe form seemed to relax and silence reigned. JC grinned and embraced the smallest increase of light peeking through the wooden blinds. She twisted open, proclaiming morning, hoping the sun would rise early and fog delay until later. She yawned. She caught sight of their matching suits hanging on the closet door frame and pictured them polished and ready for success. They knew one critical element of their final presentation included professional appearance and behavior. She silently gave thanks for her mom, who located the smartly tailored suits, complimentary silk blouses, and low-heeled leather pumps. After 16 grueling months of focused study in the advanced dual degree program at Mary Immaculate College in Ireland, it was thrilling to reach graduation. Grabbing her towel and toiletries, she dashed out the door. The dorm hallway would remain silent from the rest of the students for at least another hour. That was the reason for the first slot. No contention for the bathroom. 5 minutes and the water warmed enough for her to stop shivering. She shampooed, rinsed, and stepped out of the white-tiled enclosure. Gracie vigorously rubbed her body dry and used the second towel to wrap her light blonde hair. Seeing bright eyes reflected from the slightly steamy mirror, she saluted her image and hurriedly returned to the shared room. Bailey, she called, the water's warm, so get a move on, sister. The lump moved slightly, but Gracie remained unconvinced of the needed follow-through. You got till 5. 1, 2, 3. The covers flew and landed on the floor as her roommate launched herself to her full height with her thick, wavy mane of dark auburn hair framing her oval face. Okay, I'm awake. Stop counting, she grinned. Thanks for getting the water warm I'll be right back.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Inside the Minds of Authors. Welcome back to our new season celebration week podcasting going on. I'm thrilled you guys are joining us for a third day in a row of amazing authors and books. Hope you enjoy that reading as much as I do. We have our dear friends back. Before we get started, if you're new to the podcast, go ahead and subscribe. You do not want to miss a single episode. Make sure you stay in touch. We're going to get started. Welcome, Ms. Roxy. Welcome, Mr. Charles. How are you guys doing today?
Absolutely awesome, though a little cold. You know, February in Texas is not like August.
Well, it's 50 degrees. We started looking for sweaters, turning the heat up, building bonfires in the kitchen, that kind of thing.
I'm tapped out when it comes to weather in Texas because it just doesn't not cooperate with us. We're just going to put it out there. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot, sometimes we have hurricanes. What can we say? Welcome to the show. I'm thrilled you guys are here. I love the reading. We're going to jump in. You guys have been on the podcast before, so I know our listeners are excited for this. Let's start with the book. You said you guys have a new book coming out in this series. Let's talk about this one and let's talk about this series. Who wants to jump in?
So the series is called Enigma Heirs. So it is the next generation of our original series. So it's the offspring who inherited the R group and the Cats team to fight the cyber thugs across the dark net and help humanity whenever they can. In this book, in Tracer, Bailey and Gracie are friends from college. Both of them led pretty sheltered lives as young people, so they never really were allowed to be educated outside of their homes. So this was a big deal for them to go to college by themselves and actually find a dear friend. And it's relevant when you go to college and you have a roommate, you bond like sisters, and these two have bonded. So Gracie heads up the R group now. So she has earned her stripes and she's taking over the reins of that. Bailey, her friend, doesn't know about Gracie's other life, as it were. I mean, they're close, and she knows Gracie often has insights into her, but can't quite figure out why she has those insights, but she also knows she's a dear friend who will help. And so this is 2.5 years before Bailey calls upon Gracie to help solve a problem.
So the problem really gets down to, this is Gracie and her brother's first time up at bat, running the information brokerage, the R group, and the Cats team. So they've got their work cut out for them. They've been trained all their lives, but it's the same old thing. I mean, with the next generation, are they prepared? Will they be able to do this? Will they be able to catch the bad guys without getting hurt? And so it's a little bit of a struggle because it's the first time they're up against the ecological gangster that is a pro at eliminating all threats that approach him and his business model.
I love the combination of definitely thriller / kids coming into the play and what they're bringing into the equation. So the new generation is really fun. So cybercrime is something that we all understand and we all hear about it, but we never actually see it as a thriller. It's the kind of stuff that we tell all the people, like, don't click on the link because you're going to get spam or phish. Don't do that. So to see this creativity at work, how long did it take you guys to come up with this series?
Well, full transparency, we had a false start on the Enigma Heirs. I got tangled up mentally on it, and it took longer for us to be able to pull it back from the precipice, as it were, and restart it, regenerate it, and get it back on target. So Rock was very cooperative and forgiving about the false steps. So it was very satisfying to have the last page finished, and the editors and the genre readers go, nice work. Finally, it's like, okay, it was worth the struggle. And so I guess we have about, 18 months, 12 to 18 months in it.
And to be fully transparent, it's a big deviation from the original series. And so it's a different perspective. It's geared toward the YA crowd more than it is the older adults. I mean, our books have always been for adults. They're not children's books. But we wanted to make sure that we were more relevant with the younger people, because you're right, DC. Young people today have a lot to contribute in many different ways. And, most of them can be very positive. And that's where we wanted to go with this, was the positive determination of young people facing whatever is presented and finding a way over or around it to help their friends. So that's kind of the thing. So yes, we did take longer than any other book we've ever written. 18 months for us is a long time. So we're excited about it.
Here's a fun thing. 18 months, 2 years is still a fun book. So time is not an issue when you're creating art and when you're truly thinking of your audience. Because sometimes I think, and I'm notorious for doing this at times, of rushing a project because I can't wait to get it out. And then going back and be like, now I got to go fix all this because I was rushing. So I'm totally with you guys.
You've been at that bus stop with us too. I get it. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I understand completely. Trust me. You were speaking to the choir. I'm like, oh, yeah, been there. Let's not do that again. And I still do. So here's the question: as co-authors, how does it work in the creative genius when you start writing? I'm very technical. It's like, who's typing? And how does the typing go back and forth?
Oh, so that's probably the most fun of what we do. We reside in different places. We have different families, we have different work lives and all of that. And so we are also technologists by profession. So everything in our creative arena is captured electronically and digitally. And so things are shared electronically. We have spreadsheets, we have video meetings to work out specific issues or problems when we can't get together and go take a walk and go, okay, why are we doing this? Do we really want to do this? So we actually both write. So we flip chapters back and forth, and it allows us, we believe, to get a good handle on our characters, and especially guys versus girls. Guys say things in a certain way. And so we constantly can go back and forth and say, okay, JJ would never say that, Rox. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Or Gracie would never say that. Charles, that is not the way girls talk. Hey, girl, he doesn't get the hey, girl thing. He just
Love it. I think that's such a unique way of looking at it because as a writer, I'm fighting with my muse all the time. So I can't imagine having to communicate with another human being to do the writing. The fact that you guys go back and forth per chapter instead of per character is really fun. Charles, how do you handle having to get in a woman's mind every time you're typing? Because you're seamless in your creation process.
Well, I mean, the best discussion times are done when we're in person walking. We'll take the dogs, and they're big dogs, and we got the tow truck and the drag queen that takes us down the street pretty heavy. And we basically will try out story ideas. And it's a good exchange. It's like, sometimes it's like, okay, no, that doesn't work. Or we're like, tell me more about that idea. And so we do that. And sometimes we'll get back and Rox will say, now you got all that copied, right? You put that in the spreadsheet, right? And I'll say, what spreadsheet? Yeah. And so, we yank each other's chain. Okay. All right. It's part of the fun, the creative part, because then it's like, okay, now it's a challenge. Oh, you don't think I can do this, huh? All right. Oh, we'll get this now nailed down and I'll ship it over to you. And now that it's an evolution. It continues to move forward. And what's that phrase that you like to use? It grows legs, it takes off. That's part of the storytelling process that we enjoy.
To be honest, he left out a very big part about getting into the minds of women characters. So he has 2 daughters and a wife that help him get into the minds of the characters.
You are definitely understanding, and somebody's going to balance it all out. I love the fact that you guys are still having fun creating, that you enjoy that process and you enjoy each other's company as you're making these books. You did hint that there's another one coming out. We need to know, what is that one about? Because we got book 1. What is the next one? What is the next level?
So in book 1, Bailey needs Gracie's help to get rid of this environmental jerk. Book 2 is called Enigma Forced, and it really focuses on human trafficking, the horrific surround that people face when they are in that particular conundrum. There's been a lot of migrants coming in. All those pictures are not necessarily pretty, but there are people that are trying to help. And I think it's a subject that's relevant today. I think it does deserve people to be cautious but it also allows for a lot of different points of view. There's people on all sides of the issue. And so we try very hard, really hard, not to be terribly political. I mean, that's not the point.
In book number 1, we did leave the bad guy. I mean, he was pretty effectively dealt with. And what the inference was that, okay, we got all the bad guys. No, you didn't. You didn't get all the infrastructure that's still in place. They're broken, absolutely, but the bad guys know how to restore broken, bad portions of the dark net to be able to exploit. And so their business has now blossomed in book 2. And now it's personal for Gracie and JJ saying, we thought we hammered these people. What are they doing back in business? Doggone it. That's the premise of book 2.
Ooh, I like the continuation. I like the fact that you get what did we do? What do we miss? How do we get in better scenarios that people can always kind of follow and fall in love with this series? How many more books are you guys thinking on this series? Because the first one has a lot. What is this one looking like?
So then we already have a sketch out for book 3 in the series, and it's called The Enigma Jewels. And the reason we kind of have the 3 of them started is because these men, these evil men,
Bad actors.
well, the words we call them, we can't say on your podcast because that would make you rate it, but you get it. I know you know the words, even if you don't say them, I know you know them. You served in the service, so I know you know the word.
Just past naughty. Okay. All right. So
But there are 3 brothers, and these 3 brothers have the same father, but they had different mothers, and so they lived in different parts of the world. That's how we got to the 3rd one. Whether or not we're going to do a 4th one has kind of been up for the background debate. I don't want to get too far over my skis, I just kidding.
There's nothing wrong with keeping it as a trilogy and continue the stories. And that way you guys can move on to other exciting things because you guys have amazing books out there. I need to know for our audience listening, what advice would you guys give an up and upcoming author? What would you tell them?
we'd point out that nobody writes perfectly first time or the second time, or even the 2 to the nth power time. Okay. It's an evolution. It's an ongoing process. So don't be afraid to reach out to other authors and ask for their opinions. What do you learn? What do you think about this? Now, you don't want to be too needy, but at the same time, there are good writing courses that will help improve and add extra depth and polish to the characters that you create and the stories that you tell. So it's practicing. It's not just once and done. There's no such thing as flawless. We're always finding things that, oh, wow, I wish I hadn't done it that way. That could be done better. And that's always going to be our advice. It can always be done better.
And, there's critique groups that people can take advantage of. You have to be careful about critique groups because you want to have a nurturing kind of a group. You don't want to have somebody who just badmouths and naysays everything. I don't know that I've ever picked up any book and not found at least one fragment of good. Now, there have been some that need editing. There have been some that, just weren't my cup of tea, as it were. I'm not a fan of a couple of different genres, but that doesn't mean the writing is necessarily bad. It just means that it's not for me. And that's the other thing. Every story is not for every person. We all have favorite genres. We all have go-to things for comfort, and that's good. We just have to reach those readers. We just have to make sure we're telling fun stories. We have to do a lot of work over and above the writing, and that's the marketing side.
Yeah.
As you all know, DC, it's certainly not just writing the book that makes you successful.
That was one of the things we learned almost right away. And somebody said, what book is it? Who's who's your audience? Who do you want to market? Everybody. We want to go to everybody. And so they always looked at you like, no, they'll try it again. And so that's something that it's hard to accept because he's like, this is an amazing story that I wrote. I mean, everybody can enjoy it. No, that's not true. So it's important that you target the audience that you've written for, understand your marketing because not everybody's going to be interested in it. And the people who aren't interested in it, force feeding it, you're not going to like the reviews that you get because they're not going to digest it the way that you're hoping.
The hardest part for any authors to understand is everybody's not your target audience. And that's okay. one of my friends told me, "You're not ice cream. Be okay with that." I'm like, "Ooh, but I want to be ice cream. I want everybody to like me." That's not the case. So I love the way you said it is understanding who that target demographic is, who's going to love your book and who's going to appreciate it. Because Charles, you're right. Those reviews are going to be brutal if you're targeting the wrong person. So absolutely. You guys have a busy schedule. You guys have tons of stuff coming up for 24. I need to know, what live events can our viewers find you in? Where are you guys going to be? Do you know already?
Well, some of them are available in our calendar. That's on our website. And so we update that constantly as to what's going on. It's going to have to get a little warmer than February to find us at an outdoor event. It just is. I don't do the ice driving ever. If I can avoid it, no ice driving. As springtime comes, there's some libraries that we know will have new events in them. And a couple of them last year were amazing. And then, of course, we're going to have some city events because, now that the cities have about almost 2 years of kind of clawing their way back from COVID shutdown, that the city are opening up again. Parks are opening up again, and people are able to take advantage of those fun live events. And I think everybody likes that. I mean, don't you like talking with readers? I like nothing better than going to a live event and just, hey, what do you like to read? Why do you like to read that? It's just a discussion. You don't have to buy our book.
It was fun watching you at that show in Tyler. You were so animated, young lady. I mean, like, yeah, around. And there's like, this stream of traffic, like, I want to talk to her because she's, she looks like she's fun to talk to. So, yeah, we're the same way. I'm a little lower key, obviously. I don't have as much coffee going in my system as I used to. So I have to watch out, so I don't hyperventilate when I'm talking. But it is fun to be able to talk to somebody live and, reach into their storytelling psyche and see that spark where they go, I want to read this. And that's the fun part.
Those connections are amazing, and people do gravitate through that energy. I keep thinking I'm an introvert. People keep busting that bubble for me, but we're still in denial. It's okay. But Ms. Roxy, you mentioned the website. What is the website? Where can our listeners find you? Because you got to tell us. You can't just leave us hanging like that.
I know, but it's the tease storyteller in me. What can I say?
I know.
But readers and listeners, because these books are also in audio format, can come to enigmaseries.com. ENIGMASERIES.com. There are samples of the stories, both written and listening. All the novels are done in an audio format. There are free things and the calendar. If you want to come and see us and know where we are, we're happy to do that. We love book clubs. So if there's a book club nearby that would like to have authors visit and chit chat with them, sign us up. We're there for it. Charles has been working with a couple of groups in North Dallas that are quasi, I want to say retirement homes, but I mean, these are vivacious people that are retiring for fun. We like people. We just love people.
Well, the other thing too on the website are all the links to our YouTube channels for the videos. We do a video for each book, and they're about 2 minutes long. That's like a book trailer, and we get into helping to sculpt the flavor of what the book's going to be about, whether it's identity theft or predicting the future, or genome engineering, or human trafficking. I forget that, or historical fiction. So we've got a little bit of something for everybody out there. If you're visual, if you like the audible, if you want to be able to read, I've got all three medias represented there for evaluation purposes. So you can get a feel for, okay, am I going to like this? That's important. So you can sample some stuff for free.
So to our listeners, go check out the website, check out the books. So before you guys leave us, because we need to have our lightning round, because everybody is ready for this. Are you guys ready? So we're going to start with Roxy. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Charles.
Okay.
Oh, of course. Next one. Charles, we'll start with you. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Waffle.
Of course. All right. Roxy, starting with you. Superhero or villain?
Villain.
Charles?
I'd have to say a villain.
All right. Charles, starting with you. Animation or live action?
Live action.
I am impressed. Here is a little different. Let's see how each one of you guys does. Miss Roxy, starting with you. If you could meet any famous person, dead or alive, who will you pick?
That's over the years, I have thought about that more than one time. I'm still stuck on J.R. Tolkien. I would love to sit and have a conversation with Tolkien.
Hey, that is a fabulous one. Not a problem in that one. Charles.
Winston Churchill, statesman,
Oh.
artist, writer, and the only person at that point in time willing to stand up and say no to the psychotic madman running Germany.
He has my favorite quote for anybody looking for a good quote. Says, when you're in hell, keep walking. I'm like, yes, thank you. Mr.
Yeah.
Charles, Miss Roxy, thank you so much for joining us. An absolute pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, DC. You're an amazing host and always create fun shows.
To our listeners, go ahead and check out the website. You don't want to miss a single event or a book that this amazing dynamic duo is putting together. Check them out. Remember, this is Back to Podcasting Celebration. So I'll be back tomorrow with another amazing author. So you don't want to miss out. Subscribe to the channel and check out the comments for all the links. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.